My name is Cedric Vice 1 Douglas. Vice stands for Visually Intercepting Society's Emotions, one image at a time. And I'm the first Pratt public art think tank, artist in residence at Emerson College, and my project is Street Memorials. You have to ask questions. You can't just assume you know. Going into an elevator place where you never talk to anyone, you're on your phone, everyone's quiet, that can be a space for conversation, a space where you can transform it into something different. I'm willing to take on the negative stuff because I want to challenge people that disagree, and it's okay to take risk. It's okay to challenge students and challenge yourself and not just be like safe, because safe gets you nowhere. Art is about challenging people. So Street Memorials originated when I created a memorial sign for my uncle, who was a graffiti artist who passed away.
He was making street signs, first to memorialize a family member he lost, but then other people had started to come to him too. And the idea was really interesting. He is willing to tackle issues that maybe others might want to step away from, really tough conversations that need to be had. I think one of the things we wanted to show too is that in recent years, when the students have protested or showed concerns about, well, what does diversity on our campus look like? How do we as a community deal with issues like racism? Bringing in an artist like Cedric, who deals firsthand with those issues and doesn't shy away from them, was also a way to show the whole community of Emerson, and hopefully our neighbors outside of Emerson, that we were really committed to these, not just ideals of social justice and civic engagement, but trying to live them.
I wanted to ask questions, which is really an essential part of my process, not just putting stuff out there, making people like it or dislike it. And by asking questions, it makes people realize where people are coming from. You learn from that. When is it okay to shoot someone? It's a pretty loaded question. And I did this personally, I went around with these and I asked people, when is it okay to shoot someone? And people respond. And then I left them on elevators and I left them in a couple different student centers. Just making it really general was a way for people to engage in it, to the project. We got over 120 responses. And the goal for this is to have these tags be put up, just tied onto things in random spots where it's almost like it's an advertisement for who this person is, and you don't know who it is. They're just right above you, everywhere around you, and you can't really ignore it. And it's kind of like a public service announcement, because when I originally was doing this part with the tags, I was kind of upset that the media wasn't really covering some of the recent shootings. It was just you had to search to find it. So I did a lot of research. My sister Hannah and Cecily Miller, they both helped me with the research part, and we researched 400 people that were killed by police, black men and women, in the last 5 years.
An unarmed teenager shot dead on a Saturday afternoon.
12-year-old Tamir Rice was shot to death by a rookie police officer.
An officer shot and killed an unarmed 17-year-old.
The 31-year-old was shot early Sunday morning by Boston police.
Stephon Clark was killed. He had a cell phone. He was shot at 20 times.
Officers opening fire on an unarmed black man in his grandparents' backyard.
And the police mistook the cell phone for a gun. Now he's dead.
Mike Brown's friend says Brown was just trying to get away.
If you're defending yourself with an 18-year-old like Mike Brown, you don't shoot them in the head 2 times.
Coleman says her son was not armed and not acting violently.
It's questionable to me if that's protection. People are just getting shot, and in the last 5 years, 1,000. In the last 5 years, over 1,000 people. That's a lot of people. So we really need to think about what's really going on. So the Rose Memorial was really trying to pay homage to each person. Like the rose represents an actual life. And the rose is alive and it's eventually going to die, but that tag's going to stay. How I think people have reacted to the project, I guess I don't know. It's more in the tradition of like creating like a painting and letting people really take away from it what they want or what they see. I saw people's response, like they would grab a rose and then they would look at the tag and they'd be like reading it. Some people would stop, but like I feel like it touched people.
I was in 8th grade when Trayvon Martin was killed, and where I went to school was like 2 blocks from where Trayvon Martin got shot. My best friend lived in that neighborhood, so like that could have been my little brother or like my best friend's brother, you know what I mean? Like just anybody. It could have happened to anyone that I know, or it could have happened to me, and that's like kind of disheartening to think that like this is something that I have to think about every day, and that people can just go their entire lives without ever thinking about it until we like hand them a rose on the street and they're like, wow.
I feel like the time is right. People are talking about gun violence. Let's talk about black men and women that are being shot at. Over 1,000 in the last 5 years. It's crazy to even think about that number. So I think the time is right, and let's talk about it.